September 27th, 2019. On the way to Fort Collins, I was nervous. I had never interviewed anyone I didn't know, but I knew that I didn't have a choice. My mom and I thought we were going to be late, so we walked as fast as we could to the strike. When we got there, it was really crowded. There were tons of protest signs, each with their own unique style, but it wasn't only teenagers. There were kids who looked younger than 5 and grandparents with their own signs. The strike started and the passion for change ignited. There were chants, speeches, poems, and more.
There ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. There ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Fires burn, but you don't hear a call. Fossil fuels are paying you, don't weigh on you at all.
They had organizers of groups like Earth Guardians and Sunrise of Fort Collins.
We are a youth-led climate group, and we work on both a national and a hub level. So while you could be flying out to strikes in DC, most of our impactful work is done right here in northern Colorado. Our main focus is getting our politicians and leaders, the people in power, to pay attention to us. We do this by supporting policies like the Green New Deal, and we want politicians who are committed to climate justice.
So my name is Maddie Fonline. I am an ambassador for Save the Boundary Waters. The Boundary Waters is located up in Ely, Minnesota. And then here on CSU's campus, I am the president of Rams for the Boundary Waters and Wilderness Advocacy. So we're an advocacy group here on campus that wants to promote the Boundary Waters and the threat that it's currently facing. And we also want to get more young people into advocacy. Here we're trying to help save the Boundary Waters while also trying to help save the world.
When the strike was over, I got to interview some of the organizers, speakers, and teens that were striking with inspiring messages to others, including the science behind the climate change.
This is your future. You need to talk now, because now is all we've got and we're running out of time.
I would say too, don't let anybody tell you that you care too much or try to silence you or that you're too passionate. It matters, because it's our future.
Claim your power.
Well, I'm a zoology major, and so my main focus is biodiversity, and I honestly think that's one of the biggest things, because without that biodiversity and keeping those ecosystems in equilibrium, then our whole planet's just going to fall down. If you look at the documentary that talks about wolves in Yellowstone, they only brought in 14 wolves, and they have completely changed how the rivers are running. That's how little of an impact animals can have. And bees are also one of the main things. They're so important to our crops, and without them, scientists are saying that we only have 4 years to live without them.
My name is Laramie Woods.
Hi, my folks come from Mora, Nuevo Mexico. My name is Esperanza, Garcia, and we are here representing Fort Collins here at the climate rally in solidarity with the rest of the international rallies that's been happening across the world.
This one figure, this one leader has not been leading this movement because the people have been doing it. It has not been just one person. So please be aware. Don't always take what people tell you, even me. Please challenge me all the time. Keep challenging us and keep challenging each other. Thank you.
Leaving Fort Collins that day, I kept thinking about the experience I had. So many teens like me were doing something that I was told was impossible by society. My whole life, children were too young to do something like this. Yet I was a part of this strike organized by kids. It was amazing and inspiring to me. I wanted to share it with everyone at my school. And it turns out, I wasn't the only student from Ridges wanting to make a difference.
So I got involved with climate strikes basically through my mom. She's a doer, so she looked up some stuff because she knew I was stressing over it, and she saw that there was a strike back in April. And I went to that strike with my sister, and then we accidentally took the bus early. So we showed up, and the organizers were still really the only ones there. And they were super accepting, and they took us in, and I got to meet some super cool people who I now still work with. And we all kind of came together like a family for that first one. It just has stayed that way. And so from that point on, I've been involved with Earth Guardians and loosely with all the other organizations, really, because we kind of have to all come together for global strikes and stuff like that. We're kind of done with just bringing attention and awareness, although that is still very important. Generally, everybody knows that climate change is a fact. And so it's not any longer a question of is climate change real, it's a question of what do we do? So we've created a list of demands which we stressed pretty prominently, especially the Denver strike and through all of the strikes globally. You know, the biggest demands that we focused on, or at least that I've seen results in, are like respecting Indigenous land and sovereignty, especially in Colorado, is something that we need to focus on. And so we pulled that up as one of our prominent demands. Protecting biodiversity, because again, Colorado, we're destroying quite a bit of ecosystems, and it's really pretty crazy what human impact can do. The biggest, in my opinion, the demand that I stress the most personally is a Green New Deal. It's not necessarily the Green New Deal that's circulating right now, but a Green New Deal needs to make that we deserve a Green New Deal. We deserve a plan for our futures and a chance. Because as of right now, we're really shooting for a plan that will only get us about a 50-50 chance of surviving. And that plan's not even in place yet. So we haven't even got halfway there.
After that interview, I thought my journey was finished, and I was ready to tell the story. I would find out that I was far from being finished. While working on the script, I happened to tumble upon a news article saying that Greta Thunberg was coming to Colorado and speaking. I knew that I had to go. It was tight, but somehow my mother was able to organize for us to go.
My name is Marlo Baines. I am 17 years old and I'm the co-youth director for Earth Guardians. And I'm so excited to see all of these voices. You know, back in February, me and my friend would go and strike at the Colorado Boulder courthouse, and it was the two of us, and we would sit there with our signs, and people would come in and come and go. And then on March 15th in Boulder, we saw 800 people show up together, stand in solidarity, primarily youth, which was so amazing and so inspiring. You know, this climate strike is being led by the youth of the future now. And we are going to continue to show up for our communities because that's what we can do and because we want a future. You know, we should be in school today, and instead we're having to tell the adults that we need to take drastic change on climate now.
I'm Renee Chacon, a co-founder of Women from the Mountain, a cultural educator, a teacher, and most of all, a mother. I'm here for my sons. I am here for their future. I am here to link that social justice is climate justice. I am here for missing and murdered Indigenous women, Black women, trans women, all invisible women, and those that identify as women. We need to realize that our exploited practices are not just robbing the sacred of the earth, but the sacred of our femininity, of respecting our femininity, of respecting our masculinity and the balance of both, and understanding that most of all, we cannot just overconsume without renewing, without teaching our children to renew. If you notice, I have what is called a samero, a poposh comment, and what this really means is to clean. I'm here to clean this space. I'm here to hopefully keep it safe, and most of all, to raise our prayers for the women. And when I say prayer, I mean intention. When we say for natives prayer, intention means in how you walk, in what you say. You do not speak unless you mean what you say, and you're gonna walk that way. So when I say prayer, mean it.
My name is Micaela Ironshell Dominguez. I am a proud Chichango Lakota and Chicana right here from Denver, Colorado. I am a director and youth mentor for the International Indigenous Youth Council. I am also a co-founder of Women from the Mountain. I am here to be a voice and bring the awareness of missing and murdered Indigenous women and Black women. I am sick of us being erased and not having a voice. I am here to stop that. We still exist. I exist. I am here. Feminine leadership to me, thank you. Feminine leadership to me has no gender. And right now that is very important. The feminine is more of an energy, and it's what we need to bring to our men. I ask that our men stop hurting us. That is what I ask today. As I said before, I am a voice for our stolen and murdered sisters, our Indigenous women that have been murdered and stolen centuries before I even stand here.
October 11th, 2019 was the biggest climate strike in Colorado for this movement. It was Indigenous Peoples Week, and so many speakers talked about their personal experiences and their female Indigenous relatives who were tortured and/or killed. They were answering questions from previous organizers. As I watched, I was surprised to see that one of them was Liam. But when I thought about it, that wasn't a shock at all.
My existence. I am constantly fighting for my existence. I'm gonna give you a little, just an example of that. A few days ago with my sister Sarah, who's here, we were at the airport, and a man came up to us and asked if we were Filipino or Polynesian or something beautiful. But it hurt me because never ever have I once been asked from a stranger, are you Native American? Are you Lakota? Are you Chishangu? I want to hear that one day, and I will, and my children will, and my great-grandchildren will, because I am fighting for that today. I am fighting for our existence every single day.
The dresses on stage represented the murdered and tortured women, and the handprints on their mouths represent how Indigenous women, Black women, and others were silenced. They spoke out about how they were taking back their power and no longer being silenced. The crowd and organizers sang familiar cheers, and I even saw some of the speakers I interviewed from the September strike. Then it was time for Greta to emerge. When she did, cameras flashed what seemed like thousands of pictures, and the crowd went wild. Photographers tried to shove past me, but I refused to move. This was what I had been waiting for. The girl who had started it all, and was standing right in front of us with another inspiring speech to share.
Well, thank you so much for coming today. It is so amazing to see all of you. It's just so much people everywhere you look, and it's very overwhelming. Thank you so much for coming, every one of you. This is real hope. This is what we are seeing right now. This is the hope, the people. This is a movement with millions upon millions of people telling world leaders to act on the science, and we are demanding a safe future for everyone. And that is not something you can continue to ignore. It is we young people and future generations who are going to suffer the most from the climate and ecological crisis. It should not be up to us to take the responsibility, but since the leaders are behaving like children, then we have no other choice. The older generations are failing us, and the political leaders are failing us. But we will be watching and holding them accountable. We will make sure they will not get away with continuing like now. Because we, as young people, are tired of constantly being betrayed by those who are supposed to work for our greater good. We are here because we care about the future, about what we one day will leave after us. And the political leaders can't seem to think beyond the next election. And that needs to come to an end. For well over a year, young people from all around the world have been striking from school every Friday, demanding world leaders to take this responsibility and to unite behind the science. They have not done that. The people in power continue to ignore us and to ignore the current best available science. How dare they? How dare they leave this mess for their own children to clean up and solve? How dare they pretend that they are doing enough when the politics needed are still nowhere in sight? How dare they ignore the countless of people all around the world who are suffering and dying today because of the climate and ecological crisis and the ecosystems that are being destroyed? They are indeed not mature enough to tell it like it is, so we will do it for them. We still have this in our own hands, but to do our best is no longer good enough. We all need to do the seemingly impossible. We didn't start school striking because we wanted to. We didn't do it because we wanted to gain attention or because it was fun. We did it because someone needs to do something. And that someone could be me, it could be you, or anyone in this crowd. You don't have to wait for someone else to do something. No one is too small to make a difference, never forget that. And we will go on every Friday for as long as it takes. And we must prepare ourselves to go on for a very long time, unfortunately. But that will not stop us. We are rising and we will not back down. We will not beg the people in power to care and to act, because they have ignored us in the past and they will ignore us again. We will instead tell them that if they won't do it, then we will. The world is waking up and we are the change. And change is coming whether you like it or not.
Everyone out there, we are the change. It's not all of us. We are no different than any of you. We have stepped up, and now we're calling on everybody here to step up. Every single week, every single day, in every single way.
One thing I would like to say to all my homies there in Regis is that when you come to these things, make sure you know how much space you're taking up. I want you to know that before Greta Thunberg, before Shete Scott, before all these people that you know as like climate leaders today, like all of our ancestors have fought for our Mother Earth, so just make sure you know that, like reconcile with that. Know where you're from, know your peoples, and then know who you are and why you came here. We all have a mission to be here on this earth. All of our feet are planted here for a reason. So I want you, every time you come to these events like this, I want you to make sure that you know why you're coming here. I want you to know who you're representing and how much space you're taking up. I want you to know that this has been happening ever since an amphibian that ever swam in the water and landed on this land. So know that. I like to say that it's much more than just coming out here to a protest and to a rally. It's so much more. You need to go and organize in your community. You need to support and uplift the black and brown folks that are in our community. Those people that are less, that are seen as less, we need to be there and see them as humans first. Before we see them as Muslim, before we see them as Christian, as white, as European, before we see them as Indigenous, before we see them as male, we want to see each other as humans first and recognize that we're all part of that wheel.
We're all connected.
We're all connected.
In every way, we're connected.
We're all connected. Say thanks to every single thing you consume. Say thank you to those. Say
Give back.
Give back.
And I would say too, don't let anybody tell you that you care too much or try to silence you or that you're too passionate. It matters because it's our future.
Claim your power.
Just respect everything. People, what you use, how you use it, give back, and love one another, love the world. Just give back.
And you matter. You matter. Everything that you do does have the consequence, and so might as well come here and have a good consequence and change the earth.
Say thank you to the shoes that you walk in, because everything that you have is due to something. So if you know where your thing is coming from, if you know where your products are coming from, then you're better acquitted to know your impact. So if you're really down for this, know who you are and know your impact.
It's your choice what this country is made of, and it's your choice how it ends up. And I frequently say Trump was the best thing that ever happened as far as all these environmental things and waking you guys up. and I love that.
Speak your mind, get your voice out there, because people are always going to have different opinions with you, and they're always going to try and debate against you. But as long as you have facts and you're confident what you're talking about, then you can really get that point across. And it's just really informing those people about the facts and not listening to the lies that everyone else are giving, because they're just putting a blind eye to everything else.
First off, Earth Guardians is awesome. Earth Guardians Denver Metro. I co-lead there. It is really easy to get involved. All you have to do is take the first steps, and I know how uncomfortable that is. I was lucky enough to have my twin sister go to that first strike with me, and that helped break the ice. But just know that we're there for you. Like, this isn't this is probably one of the most accepting groups that I've ever gotten to be a part of. Not just Earth Guardians, but everyone who's involved in all this climate stuff, because it's people who, like, we care for people. That's the whole point. It's part of the purpose of most of our demands. Like, people are the movement, and we have to join together. We have to accept everybody, because we're all in this. So we will care for you, we will be there for you, and all it takes is taking the first steps, and then we'll guide you through the rest of it.
Greta Thunberg has inspired many others to join the movement, and other teens are taking action to stand for their future and the future of the world. When the speakers talked about how they got involved, they say they had something big happen. For me, this is the big thing. Hearing about Greta and her bravery for standing up to the government is one of the most inspiring things for me. The purpose of this strike was to teach us that we must respect each other and respect the planet we live on, that we must take a stand so that we have a chance to change the future and each other for the better through respect. I believe in truth and justice. It has always been a huge part of my life, and I was born on Earth Day, which makes me only want to fight for our Earth more. I believe I can do it. I believe we can do it. Let's join together to show others that we must respect the planet and each other.
Dear Jericho Amada, you are physical manifestations of sunshine. You are 7-year-old, coyote eyes and white corn tooth giggles. Your spirit is as bright as your squeaky light up shoes. You are so excited for your big prima to walk with you down to Las Acequias. You are so excited for your big prima to come walk with you along the rivers. Dear Jericho Amada, I'd like to tell you something about that old river. Scientists say that one day these lands will reach an unbearable drought, that there will be no food for the yuca, trout, piñon, chapulín, or mountain lions. They will pray for the clouds to bless them and rid them of this dry air. They say that wildfires will torment your afternoon naps and leave you with scorched, burning skin. Esos científicos dicen que los pedacitos de petróleo y carbón van a quemar a tus raíces. Dicen que los fuegos van a quemar a tus hojas, cuerpo y cabellos. They say that your vessel will return to the earth in which you came. In your dream visions, you will feel nurturing arms of Tonantzin. But know that it will be the greedy, displacing hands of governments that will sell your ashes by the handfuls. Dear Jericho Amada, please don't cry. Instead, listen to the silences. Listen to la Creadora, Tonantzin, Mother Earth, and Black women. Listen to her as she cleanses us of this disease. The dollars that we spend are our true votes and the reflections of our values. Choose wisely who and when you support. Support only the corporations and communities that support you back. Recycle the money within your community. Boycott Wells Fargo, Walmart, Kroger's, Tyson Chicken, the Ice Cream Centers, Nike, and Walmarts. Each of us has this responsibility to be either complicit or to heal this destruction. To the nations of Nigeria, the Maori, Indonesia, plant, mineral, animal, and all poor in dollar, I am grateful for this opportunity to acknowledge you in this unifying moment. Woo! We are all here today, pushing for our fellow human beings to stop the fossil fuel addicted industry, to stop the throwaway nation that has the itch apologize. I apologize that those who consume the most will be paying and are paying the least. Woo! We are drawing the line here. Dear Jerica Mother, you are so soft for someone who must be so strong. Your strength gives me power to fight for you, me, and our future. And we are not waiting any longer. And even though our so-called leaders hide behind white false teeth, are paid to say that the wildfires, earthquakes, and tidal waves don't exist, who are paid to say that climate change doesn't exist, who are paid to say that climate refugees don't exist, who are paid to say that we don't exist. Still, there are those who see us. I'm doing this. I can only get one hand, sorry. Still, there are those who see us, whose hands are reaching out, fists raising up, and we are los niños caminando las acequias. We are the children walking our rivers. We are the radiance of solidarity. We are the soil of our farmers past. We are teenagers blooming petitions. We are families biking, recycling, reusing. We are engineers building, dreaming, designing. We are artists painting, dancing, and writing. And we are spreading the word. And there are thousands of us. They have striked. They have marched. There have been a community this whole week of international global climate strikes on the streets, marching, who are marching for climate justice now. And they are marching for you, Jerica. They are marching for us. Because we deserve to do so much more than just survive. We deserve to thrive. Dear Jerica Amada, you are eyes heavy with drowsy weight. So just close those eyes and sleep in peace. Because we won't let you down. You'll see.